What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the RXP podcast where four working professionals talk all about their love for movies, TV shows, and video games. Today, I am joined by Alex.
We are the Fantastic Four.
Ooh, we are. Who would you be in this situation, Alex? Who do you like most?
We
represent?
know what you'd be.
I'd be Ben. I'm Ben.
Ben. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I
fair
get the
enough.
Ben vibe.
Tiffany.
Wait, which one's Ben again?
I herald myself, and I'm honestly claiming Human Torch.
Oh, Human
wow.
Torch. Okay. Yasser.
Say the thing. Say it. Alex, say it. He's not saying it.
It's recording time. All right, Yasser, who do you see yourself as?
Well, I was gonna say the Human Torch because I said the line, but I'll take Invisible Woman. Fuck it.
Yeah,
And then by default,
Yeah.
I guess I'm Mr. Fantastic.
I left
my
that
name's
one for you,
Matt,
buddy.
of course.
If the
Thank you
glasses
so much.
fit.
Oh,
I guess so. So if this introduction hasn't given it away, we are doing a peer review on the Fantastic Four First Steps, Fantastic Four's newest movie, newest edition. We got Pedro Pascal in here. We got Vanessa Kirby. We got all the other people too. I had a good time. With this movie. I'm really excited to kind of hear your all's thoughts. It's been about a week since it's been out. I think everybody watched it over the weekend. Initial thoughts. Alex, where you at, man? You're the one person I've been dying to know. Because one, you don't have a letterbox, and so it's impossible to know exactly where you're at. But two, we don't really talk movies too much. Where'd you like it?
Galactus forbid that you just send me a text and ask me how I liked it.
Galactus forbid.
Galactus.
It's a great line.
That's called content. It's called content, Alex.
Oh, right. We have to monetize the
For the
content.
content.
Help us get there, listeners. Help us monetize the content. I would say it was good. I give it like a solid. I enjoyed the movie for what happened, and I do have pros and cons with it. But overall, I can't be upset, that I went to go see it in theaters, because I feel like for me, the fine line I draw is, was it, not that I make this determination every time, but was it a waste of time for me to watch this in theaters or not, right? And so this, I don't think was a waste of time. Like, I had a good time in the movie theater.
Okay, fair enough. And just so I know, where are you at with the MCU? Have you seen all of the MCU up to this point?
So I haven't seen the Marvels, and I think I haven't. There's one other movie, but I've seen every other movie, but I haven't watched every show. So I would say
Okay,
I'm like
fair.
maybe 95% like covered with it. I give the shows a little less of a value add, but for the most part, I've seen almost every movie, and I've seen Loki at least. Obviously, as per the peer reviews we've done, but I haven't watched the other television shows.
Man, Loki, what a time. Okay, Yasser, what are your kind of spoiler-free thoughts about the movie so far?
I liked it too. I would say that I liked it more than I was expecting that I was gonna like it.
Okay.
And so I actually ended up enjoying it. I thought it was one of the better Marvel movies that I've seen in a while. Although, to be fair, I haven't watched that many Marvel movies since Endgame. But I enjoyed it. And I think overall, I also watched it in IMAX, and I feel like you don't need to watch it in
Ooh.
IMAX. But it was
Interesting.
it was enjoyable in that experience in that format too, if it's available and it's something that you're considering. But I think it would be fun even without it.
What a flex. Tiffany,
okay.
you're the 100%er here.
Yep.
You've seen all the shows, all the movies. What did you feel about it?
So saw it opening Thursday. Made sure I wouldn't get spoiled by nobody. I had for lack of a better word, fantastic time with this
Nice.
movie. Everyone talks about the Fast and Furious movies being about family. This movie is about
Excuse you.
family.
Familia.
No, okay. This is family. for audio listeners, I'm shaking.
Legally distinct.
My I'm clutching. My fingers are touched together at the tips, and I'm shaking them like I'm about to yell at an Italian person. So this is a family movie. I loved it. I loved the vibe and aesthetic of this world. You know, was it 828? World 828? Super cool. Ending was a little unexpected. Loved it.
Nice. I feel like I'm right there with you all. I liked my time. I like my time with Fantastic Four. I think, I had pretty high expectations for this movie, or maybe higher than Yasser at least. And I felt like this was going to be kind of like the starting point. This is phase 6 now. Like, this is where a lot of the crap that we've had to deal with in phase 5 is kind of fallen by the wayside. And honestly, it's probably one of my favorite Marvel movies since probably Endgame. Like one of them. Like there were some good ones in there. Like I don't think this holds a candle to Shang-Chi. No offense, to this movie, because Shang-Chi was awesome. But there's like a couple movies maybe ahead of it, but otherwise, like I really enjoyed my time. Like this felt like phase 1, phase 2 Marvel, which I think is like the golden age of Marvel. Like it definitely felt like we got rid of a lot of the crap and kind of just trim the fat and see what happens. And what was left was a pretty fun movie with like good cast, good chemistry. I enjoyed it. Okay. Kid gloves. They're off. Spoilers on from now on. So this is your last chance. If you want to go watch the movie, hey, you can even go watch it in IMAX.
It seems pretty clear that we all liked it, so that's our recommendation.
So go watch it, come back, listen in. All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the things we loved. Let's start there. Tiffany, I feel like you're the hype master of the MCU.
That's right.
What's your top thing in this movie?
So, h.e.r.b.i.e is my top thing.
H.e.r.b.i.e?
Herbert,
the robot?
Yes, that robot was
Oh my
amazing.
gosh.
I loved
Thing,
everything
by the way.
he was the thing didn't even top the thing. You know what I'm saying? But
Wow.
H.e.r.b.i.e was like such a delight for me. Like when he's just doing his thing. He's the ultimate helper. He's helping Pedro, or he's helping, Reed make the baby bed while he's making more tech stuff.
That was cute.
He's cooking with Ben. He's freaking Johnny Storm pets him like a dog. Like, come on.
I love that.
Like, it's so cute. It is so cute. I really like that.
He scratches his head. Doesn't even
Yes. Oh, that's true. It's a scratch, not a pet. I think it's mostly for me. I actually really liked how we got it was a tight story. Like I was like, oh my gosh, the pacing is quick. And I loved knowing them as a family unit. I think that was okay. That's probably my actual top part is that they were such a family unit even before, like, we didn't see them go through the quote unquote hard times or getting used to their powers. Like, they've been doing it for a while. They're seasoned. We got a nice introduction. That was a couple minutes. That was played off by like a TV episode. That was cool. And then you saw how like they're just so heartwarming. Like Ben knew immediately that Vanessa was pregnant, and by Vanessa I mean Susan, because of the way they were acting and stuff. So I just really like that Herbert and the family bond.
Love it. This is actually two movies in a row, two Superman or superhero movies in a row where they've just said, what backstory? We're barely giving you backstory. You're hopping right in, where they have kind of been in it, and I love that. Honestly, like I'm
refreshing.
I'm here for it. For the ones where we've seen it before, like this is the third iteration popularized.
In our lifetime.
A fourth iteration that happened in like the 90s that didn't even get released, and even that it didn't even have a backstory. But this would have been the third time we would have had to watch them go through a cosmic storm and get their powers and all these things. And honestly, I'm okay that we just cut that out, because I'd rather get a lot more out of it. So I like that. The one thing that I wanted to point out was the villains, because I think Galactus, finally, he's not a freaking cloud. He's not just like smoke that's going to devour an Earth. Like, He is a humanoid looking giant robot god, and he is menacing, and he is doing like the whole Godzilla thing down New York. I loved it. And honestly, outside of that, I thought the Silver Surfer was awesome. I love the fight choreography with it. My only gripe with that is I wish I had more. Like it's like such a selfish brat thing to say, but it's like, man, I could have used some more combat, because the way she was whipping that surfboard around and she was actually surfing to catch up to them, that was
Yeah.
really good.
Surfing the
Like we can talk
wormhole was
about
cool.
CGI. We can talk about CGI until we get blue, but that CGI, that looked pretty good. I really liked it. Yasser, what stood out as positives for you?
Yeah, so for me, I'm coming into this movie, I think a little differently than you guys are, because I don't think I've even watched any of the other Fantastic Four movies. And so for me, like, I still agree with you guys that the backstory does not matter for me. Like at the very least, the way that they explained it and they kind of went through the rundown of like the news coverage of how they got their powers, I thought that was totally fine. I don't know how particularly interesting the backstory is and how it was like played off in the past, either in the comics or the books. But to me, that was completely sufficient for this storyline, and I like the fact that we kind of just jumped right in, especially um, when you're trying to introduce a new cast of superheroes. There's a lot to do, right? There's a lot to kind of develop between individual characters and between each other and their kind of relationships. So I'd rather they focus on that than spend, half an hour to figure out what the backstory is. And I think in general, people understand what the Fantastic Four are and what they mean. So again, totally agree with it, and I liked it as well. Um, I think something that I actually liked better than uh, how I saw it in Superman is I thought the plot was a little bit more focused in comparison, where you don't have too many side things going on all at once, which I also think helped kind of build up the story and the characters better. So to me, it felt like a better starting point for like in comparison for like obviously Superman was a DCU starting point. This is a starting point for a new phase for MCU. I thought it worked really well in that respect because of the fact that it was so focused, and I really got to really understand these characters and feel for them whenever there was a emotional moment. Like it actually felt like it meant something because I spent the time with those characters and saw how those relationships kind of built over time. So in general, I really like the fact that the way that they went about the storytelling, I really enjoyed it.
Alex, have we hit on all your positives?
I mean, you definitely nailed one of them. The presentation of Galactus. Like, I really feel like superheroes are nothing without their arch enemies or their antagonists, right? Like, I feel like a lot of the reason you need a hero is because there is something threatening the world. And, right, obviously, something like Galactus, which is literally like an existential threat, and probably, right, one of like the bigger threats, just not in terms of like real, like, right, like Galactus as a character is menacing in that he's not just inherently evil, but it's more so just his existence of saying, I hunger, right? Like he's just a hungering being. I'm hungry, I need to eat something, right? That type of thing. I need to satiate my hunger. So the way they represented kind of his, oh, I just want to fulfill this hunger of mine, and the existential, like, dread in terms of even when, the four land on his ship and encounter him for the first time, and Reed is having, leaving Earth, right? He was like, okay, we're going to help, defend the Earth. And then once he gets there, you see like the realization in how he's talking, his very short speech patterns, is kind of unable to like think of thoughts, where he's like, I actually don't know if I can do this. Slash also, he's like, I don't think I can do this, right? Like, in comparison to what Galactus is as a being. And then following that, I really like the black hole scene, like the chase sequence you mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
The representation of not just like going through FTL travel, but once they go to the black hole, and that whole the tension building when they're like warping around the star and like kind of entering the event horizon, right? And then we talk about
Delivering
once
a
the time
baby,
dilation starts,
whatever.
delivering a baby. Like time dilation
Simple
and
stuff.
dilation of other things. But
Yeah.
it's this kind of like combination of having that tense moment and then it kind of relaxing right once they're able to drag her into the hole, and then they whip around the black hole to make it back home. That I'm like, I think just that middle moment was enough to kind of carry the rest of it, even though maybe there wasn't a lot of high tension elsewhere in the movie besides maybe the final confrontation. And so I think they did a good job of at least representing the antagonist and having that kind of action-y thing in the middle of this, I guess, drama family crisis that's going on.
It's pretty cool. Like those moments had some of my favorite moments from like Interstellar, Apollo 13, like some of these like pretty tentpole movies that with time dilation and basically like slingshotting your way around like a gravitational pull to like save on gas. Like all these things are from other films that I've really enjoyed. Honestly, the look of the black hole looked awesome. Like I was impressed. I didn't expect it to look that good. It didn't look like slop. It looked really, really nice. I enjoyed that section. I definitely enjoyed that section. I will say my MVP of the entire movie was Vanessa Kirby's Invisible Woman. Like I think that she brought the depth of a character that I feel has been kind of underutilized in the Fantastic Four up to this point. I'll say Reed Richards, he's a smart guy, but kind of the dumbest person. If you came home and you were like, hey, we are about
How
to
did you
get
not have a
annihilated.
press conference thing ready? Yeah.
And yeah, like I don't care about the dilation. Like just say we'll take a moment and get back to you. But him to be like, hey, they asked for my baby, and obviously
said
I
no.
said no. It's like no. You say you couldn't understand each other. You're gonna circle back tomorrow. Like no. Vanessa Kirby though, she was smart. She was cunning. Like they gave enough history about her working as a politician and like working to build all these like bridges to other people.
Yeah.
That when she came out with Franklin and she was like, listen, I'm not going to sacrifice my baby for this world, but I'm also not going to sacrifice the world for my baby. Like, man, that was an amazing moment. And I feel like everybody's been pushing for Reed Richards to be like the leader of the Avengers. But in my mind, the leader right now is Invisible Woman. And I'm cool with that future.
Yeah.
Can I just say that when they were having the press conference and he's like, Reed was like, they want my baby, I was literally like, why would he say that? Like, I said that?
Yeah.
Why would you admit that?
Yeah.
And literally Alex turned to me and he's like, that's very in character for him. He's honest. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. We've known this man for 45 minutes and Alex is telling me that he's a very honest and true character. So he would...
But maybe, yeah. I could see it.
I mean, when Alex said that, I was like, okay, I guess. But like, geez Louise, I wouldn't have admitted that at all.
I mean, I don't know if that's how he is in the comics or not, but he definitely does not consistently act like that in the movie. Like, there are moments where he knows something is inevitable and he doesn't want to mention it yet. So he does hold back information at times. So for him to mention it there was very odd. I think we can all agree with that.
I also want to say...
You're just shook,
I guess so.
He was shook. Everyone was shook.
The scene in the wormhole, my biggest concern was like, why does she still have her pants on? Like when she was literally her contractions were starting. Way too late. Way too late for my liking. She's literally dilating. I'm like, why is she still wearing pants? Take the pants off.
Maybe where there were some of those snap-on pants. You never know.
Oh, that's
like maybe
fair.
they had thought about this.
Yeah, maybe it was stretching while she was like in pain. The last thing I need is some like restrictive clothing on a body while...
I'm sure it was very flexible, Tiffany.
They're traveling through this wormhole with, super fantastic powers while God is chasing after them. And you're like, I don't know. She's still wearing her pants. I don't know if I believe it. Yeah, I liked some of the character aspects of it. I really like that Ben's character was so kind. Like he's not just like this like hulking Bruce, like he's not just like I'm strong, which means I'm dumb. Like he was like very careful. I really like that actor. I can't remember his name.
Eben
but from The Bear,
Moss-Bachrach or something.
Like I think he did really well with him. I think he was like a caring uncle. I was still, and I'll be honest, I'm still kind of unsure about Johnny Storm. I really
Really?
like the actor.
Hmm.
One, the one thing I know for sure that I don't like is his blue contacts. Like, let's give it up. Like you don't have to look just like him. Like the blue contacts and the blonde wig. It's like, listen, Michael B. Jordan played Johnny Storm the last movie. You don't have to worry about looking the part.
Did
All right,
he really?
Yeah, in the
Um,
reboot.
That's
but
crazy.
but I guess in my canon, my head canon, I am just used to Chris Evans' Human Torch, where he's kind of like this playboy and like larger than life personality. And maybe like I don't know, I don't have any attachment to them in the comics, so I don't know how close to one versus the other. But in my mind, I just couldn't help thinking about Chris Evans.
But I honestly loved Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm because I liked how he wasn't like a himbo. Like I liked how he wasn't
Yeah.
just like, I want to have relations with every pretty lady. Like he was smart. He had his own little side
Yeah.
project he was working on, trying to literally dissect and interpret a language. And he also like was close to his sister, and they weren't like combative. You know, honestly, the Chris Evans and Jessica Alba movies, like they do hold a special place in my heart. But like I also felt like some of the writing was of the time.
Yeah.
You know. So I really
I
like
only
rewatched
imagine.
all these leading up to this. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. In
Honestly,
that movie,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
in that movie, Johnny Storm was like a nepo baby. Like he only got his spot on the ship because of his sister. In this one, they made a clear fact. Is like, listen, we collected the 3 best minds to join me, and it was us four.
Yeah.
So I think they did play into like everybody earned their spot, and they all have their own skills, which is nice. I do like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I don't know which one is the more accurate like comic book representation of it. But I like this version of it because it makes it so all the characters are actually meaningful. We don't just have a character there just to crack jokes the whole time. Which
Yeah.
it feels like that's what the Storm character would be if it wasn't the way that they did it. I personally, obviously not having this background from the other movies or the comic books, I did not even recognize the contacts, and I thought he looked fine in the blonde wig. I didn't realize. So for me, like coming in with no like actual understanding of like this actor or the character in general, I thought it worked just fine. But like you guys have also mentioned, there's a lot of depth to both of those other 2 supporting characters, the Thing and um, Johnny Storm. So I really like those characters a lot in this story, and I like how they really integrated them in. Where even when they're not like the center of attention, they're doing something that is very critical to the overall plot at the same time. So that it always seemed like there was something going on even when they weren't involved in, say, like the baby situation and how to figure out how to handle that perfectly. I think it was really well done, and it really helped again um, grow those characters for the audience, so that you actually care about them, all of them, so that when he's about to go sacrifice himself and the Silver Surfer jumps in last second, like it actually means something. It's not like, oh, okay, well, one of them had to die. It ended up being her. It actually means something when someone sacrifices their life for him because you actually care for that character because of the fact that he's not just a bimbo.
A common criticism I've heard online about this movie, the reason I wanted to bring it up is because I think it's actually a strength for the movie, is that people were mad that it's not like as much of an action movie.
That's true.
If you really take like the 2 hours, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, maybe of action. Otherwise, it's a lot of talking, it's a lot of drama, it's a lot of thinking, it's a lot of planning. And honestly, I liked it. Like it was a different pace to me. I think that like we need to get over this as a society that a superhero movie has to be an action movie. Like why can't it be a horror movie? Why can't it be, a thriller? Why can't it be X, Y, and Z? And I thought that this was more like, honestly, I think this is more of a family drama movie with some action tidbits in it. And I think it worked for me because I enjoyed a lot of these characters. What did you guys feel about the action?
I mean, it makes sense because when you look at the main I guess, conflict, it's not really something you can represent in fighting, right? Like you can't, they showed at the very end when Galactus is off his ship, but when they like go visit him, like they're not in a position to fight him, especially with
Yeah.
the surfer like there helping him at the same time. And so I think it's more realistic in that way that, they wouldn't be able to fight him directly, until they have a plan to be like, right, the whole point of the movie was devising this way of saying, well, one, how can we protect the planet? And then by happenstance, how can we, I guess, fight him / use what we have left to solve this problem? And so I'm like, it would be less believable if the whole movie was just them kind of like running around like flies around him, like punching his, or trying to punch his feet or like topple him over, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Imagine.
if Mr. Fantastic like stretched out between two buildings and Invisible Woman pushed him over and he tripped backwards, like I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to see something like that. And so I think the representation of what the fights ended up being made the most sense. And I think I'm like, okay, yes, it's a superhero movie, but it still has to make sense. Like I don't want to see like a bunch of slapstick comedy going around like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tiffany, what did you think?
I didn't mind that there wasn't like action nonstop. Like I didn't need like a an hour long sequence or whatever. If anything, for me, I was like more interested in like I was like, how big is Galactus really? How big is his battle
Yeah.
station? What is going on in there? Like, is he like hooked up to the ship? Like, is he getting tube feeds constantly? Like, I was literally like, what is happening here? Like, I think for me, the action was fine. They had a little montage of them going through their villains, like their villains of the day kind of thing, with like the mole man and the ape guy. That was okay. Like,
Red Ghost.
my bad. I don't know these people. But yeah, I thought it was okay. Like wasn't thirsting for more. I was just thirsting for more
Yeah.
Galactus ship.
Honestly, from my perspective, I feel like the action scenes in general were the weakest parts of the movie. And we'll get to the point of like talking about each of our gripes with the movie. But to me, like I think it was at its best when it wasn't trying to be an action movie. And I totally am with you, Matt. Like I think you should lean into whatever makes the most sense for the characters and their story. And to me, it just made sense to do it this way rather than try to make it overly action, and in which case you just don't understand the characters as much. But I get it as far as a gripe goes. Like people go to superhero movies for action, for a lot of comedy. At least that's what we've like gotten accustomed to, right? Especially with MCU. So I get it, but I think it's at its best when it's really taking its time and you get to know the characters more. And I don't think I liked most of the action scenes, with exception of kind of the one that you guys already mentioned, with the whole the chase scene. But even before that, when they tried to fight Galactus in his like little hometown, home base, whatever you want to call it, I think that scene was also pretty cool because like they tried to combat him, but it didn't really do much, and it showed like how powerful Galactus actually was. So I like that one, but I didn't think that the ones that were in the city hit nearly as good for me. How about you, man?
Yeah, like I was a huge fan of the choreography, the fight choreography with Silver Surfer. That was the one part of it that was so strong in that wormhole and leading up to the wormhole when they were on his ship.
That's true.
That I wish we had more. And honestly, that she kind of like took a back seat and never showed up again until the very end. I was a little bit disappointed. I almost felt like, wait, where was she? Like, was this just cut? Like, was this just like left on the cutting room floor? Like, there had to have been more.
They did say they cut a lot, so that could have been.
So, and maybe that part didn't work. Like, maybe it didn't look as good. I'll just trust them on that. The part I will happily leave a lot of action for seeing the world come together and build these random contraptions all over the earth. Because the plan, let me check
Just
my
to get it
notes.
destroyed
The plan
in, like,
is to
5 seconds.
move the planet across the solar system and hoping that he never finds us.
Yeah.
I think that's so stupid, But
Yeah.
it's like, man, that's a comic book. Like that is a
Yeah.
comic book to me. So in my mind, it's such a positive that everybody is just like, all right, let's get to
I'm
it,
down.
and just like
Let's
goes
do
for
it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when you knew it wasn't our universe. That the entire
Yeah.
world, was like, okay, oh, you want us to build this
Sure.
random contraption in the middle of the
Let's just turn off the
river?
power in the
Sure.
middle of the day. Yeah, yeah. Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this would never work in our universe. Anyway, I really liked it. I liked all the crazy zaniness of it. And I hope they keep that up. Like I hope they just keep this, because sometimes I feel like the MCU tries to be so hyper realistic when you're talking about things that aren't realistic at all, and that you lose some of that zaniness to it. And I thought that it had a lot of that. Like in the same aspect of this looks so like 1960s, there's a flying car. Like it's like the Jetsons too. And I love
Yeah.
that. I think they definitely hit the feel of kind of like this retro but futuristic
Yeah.
aesthetic. Yeah. Any other glaring positives that we missed? Because I think we might be ready. Might be ready to rip off the Band-Aid
I mean,
and talk about that CGI baby.
oh
Am I
God,
right,
oh
everybody?
gosh, okay, wait,
Well-
right before we get there, my positive thing,
Okay.
I like the introduction of a new generation of like power. Like, what is a superpowered baby going to be like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
possibilities are endless. So I'm just looking forward to the future steps.
I will say, I don't know what we're about to say about the CGI baby, but I did find the baby to be pretty funny. Like there were some good scenes where like there was just good humor out of like the baby making some weird face while someone's trying to explain something. So I enjoyed the baby, but I'm curious to hear what you guys' thoughts are about this baby.
Yasser, the baby was like half CG, half not, and I could tell when it was CG, and it was just unsettling. I was like, did we rush this? Maybe. I think that was my
Like, I get it.
issue. Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do CGI for a baby, but also I don't do this, like there had to be someone that's like, my specialty is babies and I'll help you guys out, because that CGI baby looked so uncanny valley when it was like in action. So anytime it was like moving a lot, it was definitely CGI. Anytime it was like being held by certain
Which makes
individuals,
sense.
like it was a little bit CGI, which
Yeah.
does make sense. But then when you also have a non-CGI baby, the non-CGI baby, I'm like, man, this looks good. Like I enjoy these moments. But then when you get the CGI baby, I'm like, oof, this looks very uncanny valley. Like there is something wrong with this. He was right. Let's give it to Galactus, please.
Oh
Give
my
it to Galactus
gosh.
now.
Oh my gosh.
Give it to Galactus. Jeez.
But that, that's a small thing. That's a very, very small thing. Alex, what kind of gripe do you have? Any big gripes you have on the movie?
I mean, I guess it's related to Franklin, not necessarily how he's depicted visually, because I guess,
Okay.
it's always that thing where I'm like, I mean, when you're mixing CG with real actors, I feel like it happens a lot where it's like, oh, it just doesn't look like there's something about it that always looks off. Even Galactus, like, while he's, trampling around New York, like the way he's like colored and everything, I'm just like, does this look right? Is it just a coloring thing? Is it like the way the sun's hitting him? I'm not sure. But besides that, for Franklin, I would say and obviously since this is literally called First Steps, right? Like it's kind of, I guess, revolving around Franklin and who he is and what his power actually is. I guess it's the question of, I feel like they could have done a little bit more to explain like why Galactus was so interested in him. Obviously they talked about, he was like, oh, he sees like the insatiable like hunger, basically like Franklin is able to satisfy Galactus's hunger type of thing, and right, and like basically inherit that like curse that's been given to him. But also at the same time, I'm like, they don't do much to explain like what Franklin's powers are, and I just want a little bit more. And obviously I know the characters themselves don't understand, and that's a big reason as to why they wouldn't be able to explain it, is because there's no one around to have that. But I wish something, maybe even if shalla-bal knew maybe she knew something. Maybe there's a reason as to, if she's saying just give up the child, maybe she also understood something, or maybe Galactus told her something. Who knows? But I think that's probably my biggest gripe, is just using the child as kind of this focal point for the story, but not like, I just want a little bit more kind of plot development around that.
I could definitely see that. I'm hoping that maybe we'll learn more, especially with that post-credit scene. Like, obviously Franklin is going to be involved with Doomsday, and maybe leading up to Doomsday, maybe we'll learn more about it. Some of the people I was, watching the movie with knew all about Franklin. Like, it was a big deal. Like, even when Franklin was shown in the trailers, they were freaking out about Franklin. I was like, okay, I'll take your word for it. I've never heard of Franklin in my life. But supposedly it's a pretty well-known character in the comics. So hopefully we'll learn more about it. Can I tell you my biggest gripe? I just have to say it.
Yeah, throw it out there, man.
Because it's very Franklin-esque. I feel like the reason why, I have this, I gave it a 3.5, which is great. Like, that's a good movie in my book. And the reason why it couldn't reach that 4.5 potential is because I felt like they tried to dangle around the mortality of the Fantastic Four and never tried to commit to it. Like, Johnny was going to sacrifice himself. Sue dies. Like, Invisible Woman dies. And then Franklin is, like, put on his mom.
Just kidding.
And then she doesn't die. She undies.
Yeah.
And I hated that. Like, I hated it. Does not mean I wanted Invisible Woman to die. Like, I think she was the best part about this movie. But also at the same point, it's like, just commit already. Or don't. Like, don't pretend like she's at death's door. Like, because I hate when, like, a character is close to death and then just miraculously recovers. Because this goes along with you, Alex. Me, as someone who doesn't know anything about Franklin, I'm like, oh, now this CGI baby is magic. Got it. Like, just revives everybody. Cool. Why didn't we just weaponize this baby against Galactus? Like,
weaponize the baby.
It did not feel super satisfying in my mind, like that ending to it, because I felt like they wanted us to feel they were in danger, and not once did I think they were ever going to pull the trigger, and they didn't.
Tiffany, I want you to go first so we can have like a little roller coaster.
I mean, I think I wish they told us why they picked the name Franklin, and I wish the movie was a little bit longer.
Is there a backstory behind the name?
I think it's
in the 2015 version, I think Sue and Johnny's dad was named Franklin. So I don't know if that carries along. Maybe that was an Easter egg itself. But that's maybe what I thought. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it would have been a one-liner. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I need like a mashup of names or something, like a different name, but I think that would have been nice. I struggle with...
You wanted them to go through a baby book, is what you're telling
no.
us.
No, that is not. But I think that I wanted it to be maybe a little bit longer. I don't know. I struggle. Like, I only gave this movie a 4.5 out of 5. And
Only 4.5 out of 5, by the way. I was going to ask you, what's the half star that you removed so that you can like explain, but how are you saying only 4.5?
Yeah, I
love this movie.
I'm wrestling with my opinion about it, or I'm wrestling with my thoughts about it, because I'm like, yeah, what didn't make it a 10 out of 10 for me? And it really is like some of the vibes. Maybe it just like went by too fast. I was hoping for a little bit more story, but ultimately, like, it was a tight story, so it was good. What was going on with the Thing and the nice Jewish lady? Like, is that just supposed to...
He has a love interest.
Is that just it? Like, he has feelings too?
I think so.
Like,
that's the way I interpret it anyway.
He has a reason to grow out the beard.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
or like a reason to maintain the beard until he realized, like, oh, maybe I should grow it out.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there were some things where I'm like, oh, what was kind of... But mostly, I guess it's just vibes, you guys. For some reason, it just wasn't like a 5 out of 5 for me. But I still loved it. Like,
because you get a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah,
which is
here's
really
the
good.
thing. I think
that good.
Also, like, if it was a 5 out of 5, I would have seen it again in theaters.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay.
But there's still
That's a good
some.
point.
Yeah, I'm just not.
So
100%.
4.5 out of 5, you would not rewatch that movie.
I mean, I
I'm
would
saying in
rewatch
general,
it.
not even for this movie.
No, I would. Well, I'd rewatch it, but I'd wait till like Disney
Okay, okay, okay.
Plus.
Okay,
I'd wait
okay.
till-
But not
yeah.
go back in theaters. Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's actually a really good point between 4.5
System?
and 5 of like, would I go pay again
Yes.
to go see it in theaters? That's
Mhm.
huh.
I
That's
mean,
need to remember
probably a
that.
fair
That's
point
good.
too, to be honest.
honestly,
I think I might
Matt,
fall in line with that.
some of the also,
I'm like looking at my 2025 list to be like, is the only one I've seen twice in theaters the only 5-star I've given this year? And it's true.
Winners.
It is. Wow.
Oh, I've helped you realize that. I think also Matt, side note, like for me 5 out of 5 is like it's my personality for the next like 3 weeks, and I'm like telling everyone and their mother they need to go watch it so I can talk to them about it.
Yeah.
You know?
K-pop Demon Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Demon Hunter.
I know. That's
Yasser.
true.
Oh, sorry. I said Demon Stars. That's my bad. I said it
Oh,
quick.
God.
I just wanted to throw it out there.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So I'll go ahead and give my gripe as well. It's really not that much because I gave it a 4 out of 5. So I actually enjoyed it quite a bit too. Like you did, Tiffany. I think I liked it more than Superman. I mentioned that in my review. The one gripe that I had with it, and it kind of encompasses a lot of the movie because it kind of like repeats itself, in my opinion. But it's the fact that a lot of the really like their biggest struggles in the movie or their biggest obstacles were always resolved way too easily. You know what I mean? Like when they tried to figure out the whole Franklin thing, all it took was a speech to go out in front of a group of 50 people, and they all listened, heard her through, let her complete her thoughts without like throwing shit at her. Super easy, resolved. Everyone's like, okay, we love the Fantastic Four again. And then when it came to the final battle, the final showdown, it still just seemed too easy. Like, this is Galactus. This is someone that I've heard about in passing for various different settings, whether it's in video games or movies, etc. This is supposed to be a big deal. And really, all they had as a plan was just to lure him to a teleporter. And then it kind of worked out. I don't know. It didn't seem like they tried to make it seem like there were so many stakes, and yet it didn't feel like it was rewarding in any way once they accomplished whatever it was in their way. So to me, that was like my biggest gripe. But at the same time, I don't know how I could have done it better if that's the plot that they were going for. Like, Galactus is way too big of a villain for this version of the Fantastic Four to handle on their own. So to me, it feels like he needs to come back as like an Avengers thing, but I don't know. Is he coming back? I don't like. Do you guys know the answer to that question, or is he just done?
I don't know, but was thankful that he wasn't like obliterated. Like the fact that they had to like push him away and like you know Sue Storm was mothering, like that made more sense to me than
The
like
power of love.
Yeah, the power of love. You know, it conquers all.
And like it. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, it also goes to that point that I think Matt made about like Sue Storm dying, and then they overcame that obstacle with the baby as well. It just like it kept repeating itself for me. I don't even necessarily hate the fact that Franklin saved her. It seemed super obvious that it was gonna happen, and I don't know. It kind of just like ruined the vibe because you want it to be a big deal, and it just seemed a little too obvious. So overall, I think that's my biggest gripe, is it didn't seem like there was enough stakes. And whenever there were, it just seemed like it got brushed aside and like, oh yeah, we figured it out. No big deal. But comic book movie, I'm not going to take that too seriously. I still had a really good time. For perspective, I didn't see it with someone who knew everything about MCU either, so it kind of helped. I didn't really have any huge gripes as far as like, oh, I wanted to know how they got Franklin's name, for example. But overall, I thought it was, a good time. And
I was
the biggest
stretching,
plot hole,
okay?
honestly.
I was stretching. Like, for lack of a better
Yeah.
word. I was just like, I don't know what I didn't like about it. All I know is that I was like, wow, that was a great movie. I had a great time, and then I'm not like, everyone needs to see this. It's the next coming of the MCU. You know what I mean? That's just...
But it was good to at least be able to say like, hey, this was a good MCU movie.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't want to go too far beyond the movie and talk about the MCU as a whole, but I feel like is kind of the symptoms, Yasser, that you're having issue with the movie. Is it just because it is an MCU movie? Because I feel
Maybe.
like how they resolved it with Galactus, right, of teleporting him away to the edge of the known galaxy or whatever. That right, it's more so a delay. Like they didn't really defeat him; they just kind of sent him away. And I don't know if he's coming back, but it's that thing of like reasonably he should show up again, right? Like he wants Franklin,
so.
like he knows Franklin is the solution to his issue, so he should return for him. And for me, I guess it's the question of saying, well, this is just another MCU thing where it's like, well, we have to introduce you to Galactus at some point. So in this movie, that's that point. Like we have to show you he exists and what he is. And obviously we won't resolve him or his story arc in this movie, but we have to figure out some way as to, okay, we showed you to him, but we need you to forget about him for a little bit while we, show you a bunch of other things before he comes back and he's more meaningful. And I feel like maybe there could be some use of Galactus where it's like, right, like technically Galactus is not evil per se, like he just has this insatiable
just has a purpose.
hunger.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to sate my hunger. That's it. And then he's like, okay, I just found the solution. That kid can do it. And like that's all there is. So I'm like, what if he comes back and he's like a team up? Maybe Galactus isn't really a bad guy, and he's like meaningful like later on. Like maybe he helps the Avengers or whoever the new Avenger, right? Like it could be that. And then also I feel like on the flip side, in connection with that, with the stakes, right? And so in this case, Sue Storm dying and then being brought back to life, I feel like that could bring up future like moral questions when we start going true multiversal, because right, it's gonna have to come into question stuff like Black Widow dying actually in one in one universe, and they're kind of sticking with that as being a canon death. And so it's like, well, if that's the true only real canon like sacrifice we have, where it's like that was necessary as part of a solution, and in this case, right, like Sue was brought back even though like it felt like her sacrifice was to help solve the Galactus problem, but then Franklin, being whatever he is, able to reverse that, does that bring into question later of like, oh, if Sue died once and came back to life, if she dies again, will Franklin save her, or will there be some sort of other question of saying, well, she already died once, what's the problem with her dying again, but this time for real, right? Like maybe we can let her go. I think this all just goes into the larger issue of like, they bring up these scenarios and I feel like it's meant to be a signpost for something in a later movie. Because even then too, kind of backtracking a little bit, but the I'm gonna briefly spoil Thunderbolts. The end credits, post credit scene of Thunderbolts, like it's not resolved in this movie or indicated to, and you would think it was connected. But then they're showing something from somewhere far in the future. So it seems like with this phase, maybe they're like trying to actually plan things farther out in advance. So this is just me trying to spin it positively to be like, maybe there will be more meaning later for these characters, but this first movie is not enough to help like give you all the answers, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Honestly, I think that's totally fair. Everything you just mentioned. It doesn't solve the problem of the movie itself, but the reasoning makes sense. And that's why I really can't give it that's why I'm not like giving this movie a death knell on my review because of that. Because I understand the fact that this is part of the overall MCU and like where they're trying to go with it. So it can still work. And I'm still happy with what they did with it. It's just as a standalone movie, you can have gripes when they don't really fulfill the overall conclusion that you want it to. So,
for those of you
any other
that have seen
where are we at?
Thunderbolts,
Oh,
just
I
for
have
my
not.
own personal thing, because the other Tiffany and Alex, you both have seen it.
Yes.
'Cause I have not seen it.
Yes.
Which do you prefer, Thunderbolts or this?
Thunderbolts, 100%.
Wow,
Really?
Oh, with
I
a
prefer,
bullet.
I prefer Fantastic Four.
Ooh, okay, now fight.
Well, just like
I-
as like a quick summary without spoilers, why would you prefer Thunderbolts?
I prefer Thunderbolts mostly because I think when you talk about character dynamic, one, you have more characters in the Thunderbolts interacting. I think there's like six or seven.
Yeah.
There's just more of them, so there's more chances at interaction because it's more than 4, 5 if you count Herbie, 6 I guess if you count Franklin. But
That's
Franklin
6 right
doesn't
there.
really do that much.
7 if you count his
Shalla-bal.
CGI self.
Oh,
Yeah, shalla-bal. Oh yeah, and his doppelganger that kind of looks like him, but doesn't quite exactly move just right. You know, he's just kind of floating there in Ben's arms somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there even shadows under him when he's like holding it, or like
have no
Ben
idea.
is fully lit up and
Oh
he
my
looks
God.
normal, like he's not holding anything, but then the baby's there, and it's
Stop
like,
it! Stop
huh,
it!
did-
The CGI
did someone forget the
baby's
light?
dead.
Y'all are pixel peeping.
No.
My God.
No, Franklin is alive. He brought Sue back to life. But I would just say because, and this is the thing, since they're so focused around these characters interacting, right, like their own cast within themselves, and that was more of the focus in both movies than kind of like the bigger picture going on. I just preferred how Thunderbolts did it, and I guess in some ways it's because it's more jokey. Like
Okay.
there are stakes, like the story has stakes, but they can be a little bit like they can crack more jokes in a more, I guess, quick way than the Fantastic Four have, because it's like, well, in the Fantastic Four, the whole planet's gonna die, so it's like we can't be cracking jokes when that's gonna happen. Whereas what's
Big deal,
happening in
yeah.
Thunderbolts, it's like, no, we can crack some jokes. It's not till the end where it's like it gets more serious, and obviously that's when the jokes kind of disappear. But for the most part, it's like, no, we can crack jokes between us and show the camaraderie, or kind of show us building the camaraderie, as opposed to just being like, yeah, you know, people tease Ben and that's about it. You know, like obviously like Johnny and Ben kind of tease each other, but besides that, it's just like it's the husband and wife dynamic, and then it's like the two uncle dynamic going on. So.
I think for me, Thunderbolts had a lot more comedic moments, and there was like very good character arcs. Like, Yelena is literally one of my favorite characters in this new upcoming phase. Like, I love her, and I want Yelena to be in like everything. I want her to be in the next like Kid Avengers. I want her to be in the real Avengers. I want her in like 50% of the Marvel properties moving forward, just to see her react, you know, and interact with people. But I think with the Fantastic Four, there was Herbie and there was family, and it just felt good. Thunderbolts,
Herbie comes before family, though.
yeah, Thunderbolts had a, I don't want to say that was like a deeper story, but there was like, it was heavier. The story was heavier than
heavier.
Fantastic Four. And I was like, I was happy for a feel good summer blockbuster. And that is what I got. And also, literally, I adore Pedro Pascal. Vanessa Kirby, phenomenal. I honestly am going to look forward to more of her work, because she was very unfamiliar. I was very unfamiliar with her going into this. But
You
I
didn't
thought,
watch Fantastic or Fast and Furious.
yeah, I didn't. Well, Alex, you said she was only in it for like 15 minutes, like in one movie.
Yeah, but she made an impact. I remembered her.
Okay. Okay. And I liked I think it, like I said, I like the promise of what's going to happen with the kid. So I
do too.
preferred Fantastic Four.
So can I ask a quick question now that we're like talking about other MCU stuff?
Yeah.
I don't understand the phases. Okay.
You don't need to.
like,
You don't need to.
okay, well, so like one thing I want to understand, okay, is like, so Shang-Chi was part of one of the previous phases, right? Or in this current
Yeah.
phase?
In like 5 or
Previous?
something.
5.
Yeah, okay. So
This is the
shouldn't
start of
that
6.
mean that, oh, sorry, what?
This is the start of 6.
Okay.
This movie.
So shouldn't that mean that that character was in an Avengers movie because he was in that previous phase, and each phase has like its Avengers movie, or no?
He's going
Like,
to
what am
be
I
in the
missing?
next. He's going to be in the Avengers movie.
Okay. So they
But I
combine
don't think every
multiple
phase
phases into one
needs
Avengers
an
movie.
Avenger.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, every phase
So the
doesn't
next
get.
Avengers movie will
Yeah.
have multiple phases. Are they going to have all the phases since Endgame basically in that Avengers movie? Is that the plan?
Okay, whoa, Yasser, let's slow down. The next Avengers movie comes out December 2026, and it's going to
Which is
have
next year.
whoever. Yes, they're going to have whoever they want to have in that movie from the last two phases.
So since Endgame.
Yes, and including old people, like
from before Endgame.
Yeah, because like Bucky and Falcon or Captain America.
Most of them are still alive. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure I understand. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Trying to set my expectations for Doomsday.
Yeah, Doomsday so far says the Avengers, Wakandans, Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, and X-Men all fight against Doctor Doom. There has not been any X-Men so far. And
Yeah.
so who
I was
knows?
just going
The
to say,
Foxmen,
when did the X-Men show up?
The Foxmen. Yasser, did you not watch that like 12-hour live stream where they were putting out director's chairs for every person's name?
No.
Yeah, because Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, James Marsden, all of them are going to be in it.
Alan
Cumming.
Oh
my god.
Channing Tatum? So
Yeah,
are they
'cause
not
he's
going to have a
Gambit.
movie before then? They're just going to get introduced to the MCU in the Avengers movie?
Yasser, they've all had movies before.
I'm saying, but
Here's the
they were
thing.
in the MCU?
The farther we go in the MCU, the more I'm like, Thanos was right.
Oh my god, how
kill off
dare
most
you?
of these guys.
Oh
they need
my
to
God.
snap half of these
There's
away.
too
Oh
many.
my god.
Start over.
First of all, there's gonna be two Avengers
World
movies.
hunger.
There's gonna be Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. So like, even if we don't see some surviving characters in Doomsday, we might see them in Secret Wars. For example, in the first Avengers movie, we didn't see Ant-Man.
Right.
And so they made the plot accordingly to explain why Ant-Man wasn't in Infinity War, but he was in Endgame. So I think they will like come up with rationale for like picking and choosing certain characters, because you can't just have like, honestly, Infinity
It just seems
War
like
and
it's been a long time since an Avengers movie.
I mean, you're
So
not
there's
wrong.
too many characters.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's
Can I-
only been like 7 years.
Can I be real with you?
No,
With that, all of you,
I don't
the collective
want.
you.
I don't want you to be real with
No,
me,
this is-
Matt. I'm scared.
No. This is, I really, really like this movie that we've talked about. Fantastic Four,
The
First
last-
Steps.
Yeah.
I liked it less with the post-credit scene, knowing that it was getting tied into the bigger bad issue.
Oh.
Because honestly, I liked that it was standalone, and I liked it just like the purity of it, to where it's like not tainted by the MCU, because the MCU right now, messy. Like honestly, like they need to figure stuff out, and I knew it was getting that way. I knew it was going to get that way, but man, there's just something that was reminiscent of the first couple phases of like a movie could just be a movie, and then maybe it's tied in later, but maybe not.
But they did that with this movie, didn't they? Like, this is phase 1, phase 2 to a T, where like the whole movie you don't really have tie-ins, but then at the end credit you have a tie-in, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, does that really? I understand your perspective, because I do agree with that. Of like, I like the singular stories. Like, I want the characters
To
to
speak
have
for themselves.
their own. Yeah, to have their own journey. Like, this was
Right.
the Fantastic Four's first steps into the MCU proper, like in this new kind of reimagined universe, and it was a great journey for them. Like, everything kind of made sense. These characters were well represented. We know the Fantastic Four and kind of Franklin, I guess, and we really know h.e.r.b.i.e. But it's that thing of like, I see the issue of having the notion that with that post-credit scene of like, oh right, this is connected to the big picture. But isn't that fine though, or doesn't that make it even more interesting? Because it's like you have this singular story, and this is like a snapshot of like what this Fantastic Four deals with. But then you realize, oh god, like they're gonna have to deal with this like other threat that's gonna be going on, and in addition, right, that obviously this is a multi-universal threat. So it's like, how is this group gonna play into that? I kind of like, they don't say anything, right, besides that interaction of what happens in the in the post-credits scene, but it is I like these as like Easter eggs, because then it's like if they didn't have it and then later you see them show up, wouldn't people question, oh, how are they
Yeah.
involved in this, right?
How does it
Like,
even
I
make
feel
sense?
like
Yeah.
this is just enough to be like, oh, here's the reason why we'll see them later. Like, it's explaining it.
Here's maybe I need to explain this a little bit better. So it's not that it does tie into a greater thing. I don't like that it's tying into the MCU currently, because the MCU currently is nothing that I'm excited about, honestly. Like Avengers Doomsday, I will watch it. I will hopefully enjoy it. But like Avengers right now and the MCU right now with as many strands, like I need the TVA to like go by and like kill some of these strands that they've just like
Oh
started
my
off.
gosh.
They've gone off on these things of like,
Cull.
here's all these new characters. Here's all these new characters that will never see the light of day. And that's fine because we just don't have enough time. But like the problem with the MCU is it's a mess. It is a mess. And this was such a tight 2-hour movie. And I know when that 2-hour movie goes into that mess, it's not going to make everything else fine. I think that it's more likely to just be added to that mess. And I'm not looking forward to that. That's just not something I'm looking forward
Can't
to.
see it, but Tiffany's crying right now.
Yeah,
I'm
can't
in the
see it.
fetal position.
And I think that's just a sign of the MCU right now. I think that if they had a little bit better focus, I wouldn't feel this way, because obviously Superman ties into so many different things. I didn't have a gripe about any of those kind of like touchstones of things that will come to fruition. Talking about Supergirl, which is coming next year, I'm stoked for Supergirl. The difference is there's a clean slate with Superman, and there's not a mess. They're not going back into the mess of the DCEU. They're going back into the mess that is the MCU right now. And honestly, like the MCU needs to work its way to get me back into their good graces or whatever, vice versa. Like I just think that me getting reminded at the end of the film that, oh, wait, this is part of the MCU now, was a bummer. And that's a sign of something that's happened the past few years.
I'll give a counterpoint so it doesn't have to be Tiffany. And I'll say that I actually think the opposite. And I totally respect everything you're saying. I think that's actually very, very valid. But to me, I think of it the other way, where I see that tie-in at the very end with the end credits where Robert Downey Jr.'s Doomsday, like his character is in that scene and looking over Franklin. That to me is almost like this is your time to come back to the MCU, because this was a good movie. I enjoyed this movie. I like these characters. I want to see what happens with them next. And so now I have like a true incentive to come back to the MCU. I may or may not watch some of those other movies that people had issues with, but now at least I have some sort of link that makes me want to watch the next Avengers movie, because without it, like what's the point, right? Like I don't know very much about Captain Marvel or Shang-Chi or a lot of the other movies that we've seen since Endgame. So this is my tie-in to the Avengers that makes me want to watch that movie now. So just sharing as like a separate perspective on that same kind of issue that you're kind of pointing out. All right, you can
Tiffany,
go
are
now.
you still in the
Tiffany.
fetal position?
Yeah, I can get up and to give a counterpoint. I was about to be like, Matt, do you just not know
I thought you just
joy
left the call.
anymore? Like, please. I think that for me, the cadence of Marvel has slowed down a little bit, enough for me to get back to the swing of, or the cadence of like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. There's another one coming out now, finally. Like, this past year, one show has come out, in the last 7 months, I think. No, I guess technically 2. I don't know. Are we counting Daredevil Born Again? I haven't watched that yet. But for me, I think that they've slowed down a little bit. The movies, I've consistently enjoyed the movies throughout. Some are stronger than others, but as always, let's not talk about Incredible Hulk or Thor the Dark World. But like, I still want to see the characters. We're still meeting new characters. We get to see them again. We get to see their stories. We get them in new iterations. Nothing has been horrific, you guys. Like, nothing is like less than a 7 for me, or a 6 out of 10. So I'm
for her.
for me.
For you.
For her,
Yeah.
she did clarify.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
me.
I'm glad you said that.
I mean, come on, Agatha all along last year, like,
Never saw it.
oh god, it was so good. It was so good. It was phenomenal. I don't know. I still think they're putting out some bangers, and that's why I'm always like,
Interestingly, I finished WandaVision and I have no
interest in
I
Agatha.
don't feel like I have no interest in watching the other one. I don't know why. I didn't find her character to be particularly
Compelling?
interesting. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, she gets more of a backstory.
Is it way better than WandaVision?
I think I like it better than WandaVision, and I loved WandaVision.
Interesting.
Did you like the television show style changing each episode?
Yeah, but until they like explained, like what it was for.
Then I mean, Agatha has different themes each episode, and I really liked it.
Okay.
I mean, I think Agatha.
I'll consider it, considering you liked it even more than WandaVision.
Yeah.
Might be worth it.
Yeah. I mean, it might be top 5.
Wait, hold on.
show
One
for
last
me.
one. Is it better than Loki?
Ooh.
No.
Oh, Loki's
Okay.
so good.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Because
it's
I've
good
only
as
watched like
Loki.
1 or 2
That's-
episodes of
that's
Loki,
not
and I'm
a
not loving
question.
it yet. But I'm giving it more time.
Oh my guys, get your pitchforks out. Get the fire
Yeah.
started.
We'll see.
I will stand for Loki. I don't want this to just be like
A rag
end
fest.
off the episode.
Yeah,
just,
I recommend this
crapping on the
movie.
MCU.
I recommend this movie. Go
because-
see it.
I think I am very much looking forward to a reset. Is basically the end of my tirade, and it sounds like that is what going to happen. Like, I think by the end of the multiverse saga, whatever, they have talked about that they're going to potentially do some resetting, and I hope it gets to that point, because I'm just more frustrated. Watching a lot of these end credit scenes that never pan out. It's like, get rid of it. Get rid of the end credit scenes. If you're not going to pan it out, then whatever. At least this one, we didn't see Robert Downey Jr. We just saw a cloak, but we do know that we will get something, in 2026. And honestly, December 2026 is going to be awesome. I am already going to be starting an event for Dune Part 3 and Doomsday happening the same day. It's going to be the new Barbenheimer. I can't wait.
There's no way that's still
but
going to
there's-
happen. I can't.
There's
Doomsday.
a lot, that I really loved about this movie. So happy it came out. This is a great summer. A really, really solid summer blockbuster schedule. Loved my time. Any last closing thoughts?
Say it, Alex.
I'm hesitant to recommend this movie only because
Gasp.
it's good. It's fine within itself, like it's a good movie, but because it's so self-contained, it's also like, if all you take away from this peer review is that, okay, these are a group, like the way this story is presented is that it's not an origin story. Like, these are the Fantastic Four that have their powers already, know how to use them. There's no question. There's no identity crisis. Like, it's not like the world is like, oh, they're a bunch of freaks or whatever. They're a established group
A
in this
much nicer
society.
universe, yeah.
Yeah, that exists, and they're helpful, and everyone lives in peace, right? And then we solve these problems. And I guess it's that level of saying, knowing that these are good people, like this is a good Fantastic Four, like they're just representative of the greater good. That's all you really need to know, because then once you see them in the future MCU, like that's what they represent, and there's not really much more else you need to know about them besides that they're people that tried to solve problems. And so that's where I'm kind of, while it's a good movie, you really don't need it besides the messaging that, like, once you see the heroes again, that they're good people. So I guess
All right, Tiffany,
ultimately
would you
I would say, yeah, I don't recommend it.
Interesting.
Tiffany, you want to counter that?
Yeah, I recommend it if you want a good time. Go watch this
Yeah,
movie.
I think I would say the same thing too. Like, I agree that you don't necessarily, it may not be essential for the next Avengers movie, but would you not say that it was a good time over those 2 hours? Oh,
I mean, I would say it's a good time, but if I'm looking at it, and I feel like there's always like a caveat with these recommendations, because it's like,
yeah.
if people want to get something really meaningful out of it, I don't think this movie has that much meaning besides that they're good people.
That is
And
fair.
so it's like So it's like you're not really getting much out of it besides the fact that okay, they've introduced new characters and they fight for the greater good. And so it's like hard to really get any more out of it besides that.
Man, Alex, we needed you for the Superman talk, man. You know, like we always need Alex bringing us back to reality. I would recommend this movie. I really enjoyed it. I just love any excuse to get into the theater. You can suspend disbelief for 2 hours, and it's a quick and breezy movie. It's not 3 hours. It's not 2.5. It's not 3.5. Like, it is a quick and easy breezy story. By the time it really gets going, you're about to pack up and go home. Like, it is a fun time, and I enjoyed it. I was smiling the entire time. Even with my gripes, I really enjoyed my time in the theater watching it. So 3 out of 4 recommend. Not bad. But with that, our peer review comes to a close. Special shout out to you all for sticking with us and listening to our talks about Fantastic Four first steps in the MCU. Hit a like, hit a subscribe, do all those other things. Shout out to Grandmaster Doug, and we will see you next time.